So you stopped working out because your friend didn't go with your class, or maybe you didn't see the results that you wanted fast enough. Life started lifing, and suddenly it just wasn't a priority anymore. Or maybe you fell back into what's normal for you and you've accepted it, but deep down you still want to change. Girl, I've been all those people. That was actually me only 7 months ago, but now I can say that I consistently work out every single week. Okay. But it started with understanding where my inconsistency came from, and that's my bad relationship with exercising. Something I want you to keep in mind throughout this whole video is I am not a coach. I am still new to this. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, because I feel like sometimes people have been consistent for so long that they forget what it's like to start from the beginning. And I wanted to make it now because I feel like I'm still in the beginning, but I'm not so far away that I don't understand what it feels like to begin. So that's why I'm making this video for real. A lot of people don't talk about specifically your relationship with exercising, because for me, that was probably like the biggest hurdle in my journey. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I ran track.
Don't mess up my game.
Hated the practices. Like I used to run and be like, I hate this. I hate this. And I told my mom that I hated it, and she was like, okay, I mean, you can either finish like the semester through, or you can just go ahead and quit now, because I think it was getting to the point where like she had to pay for like the season or whatever for me to do it. And I decided to just go through with it and finish it out the year. And I was like, I'm not doing this next year. But I also had a close friend, and she loved it. So I'd be like, wow, how is she loving this? Torture. Like, to just keep running. We did weightlifting multiple times a week. I was very like skinny during high school, and you can literally see I was gaining muscle in my legs and everything. I would sweat from head to toe. It was very like intense for me. I was not being very conscious of what I was eating. I don't know if I was getting the right amount of sleep for exercises like that. I would definitely black out during the practices, like kind of go in and out, and I didn't realize how dangerous and unhealthy that was. My mom didn't know. I want to make it clear, this has nothing to do with because I thought this stuff was normal. I'm like, everybody gotta feel like this. Everybody gotta be blacking out. Can't just be me. Can't just be me. But through that, I just developed a really bad relationship with working out. So today I want to talk about how I developed a better relationship with working out, because I feel like trainers and social media influencers and everybody doesn't talk about your relationship with working out. I think that's something that nobody really thinks about, but for me, it was very apparent that was something I was going to have to work through. So I want to talk to the people who maybe haven't thought about that, and they're like, oh yeah, it's clicking, Steven. It's clicking. So we're going to talk about like the things that I went through to help me get to where I am today, where I am actually consistent. This is the longest time I've ever been consistent with working out in my entire life. 4 very close. In 2 days, it'll be 7 months. That is more than half of a year. I cannot even believe that I did that myself, y'all. Like, I kind of tricked myself into doing that. So I kind of want to give y'all the tea, because I feel like other people need to think about this. Like, yeah, I'm actually kind of flabbergasted. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Y'all need to know this. Y'all do. So the first thing I want you to think about is all the times that your body felt exhausted during your workouts in the past, or like all the times where you just felt like you wanted to give up, or you legit was like, my instructor is telling me to keep doing this, but I can't. Like, I physically can't. It's not like I can't, but like I physically cannot do anything anymore. I want you to think about, like, why is that? Like, why did you feel that way? Did you not have enough nutrients? Was the workout just way too intense for your level? Like, should you have done something a little bit more beginner friendly? Did the instructor give you something that would be like an alternative? I basically, like, when they give you like a second exercise, if you're not advanced, and they say this is an advanced thing, you don't have to do it, which instructors do that. They will say, like, this is an advanced move, you don't have to do it. I basically just want you to reflect on the times where you did work out and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do it. What about the workout made you feel like I can't keep going? And I want you to do the opposite of that, because that's not how we want to start. We're not gonna go, if you went to kickboxing and that had you on your ass, we're not doing it again. We're not gonna go to kickboxing right off. We're gonna do something else. Or like, maybe you went somewhere, you was like, my body feels like I can do it, but I just don't feel full enough. Like, my stomach, I'm like, it's right after work, it's not convenient enough for me. It's right after work, I didn't eat something that was nutritious enough for me to like proceed. What is it? Like, for me, thinking back on what I would consider a traumatic experience for me, because I didn't know what I was doing. But for me, when I was in high school and I was doing track, I just remember like blacking out, and I think I didn't know my limits of like, you need to stop. And really during track, they didn't really give us a stop, and like you didn't get a choice of like, oh, you've reached your limits. It was just kind of like, you gotta keep going. Because we used to do snakes, and I don't know if y'all know what snakes are, but it's basically like you run in a line. Keeping in mind, this is the whole track team. We all running in a line, one straight line, and you running, and then the person in the back of the line sprints to the front of the line. The next person in the back of the line sprints to the front of the line. And we did that all over the gym. Our gym was 2 floors. I blacked out multiple times during that. That's probably like my most traumatic experience during that. And for that, I don't think I had enough nutrients, and I needed to be somewhere where if it was too much for me, I needed to be able to clock out. I needed to be able to be like, look, I'm done. And that wasn't an option. What I want you to do now is, like I said, we're gonna do the opposite of that. And I want you to start slow. I think a lot of people want to immediately go to the gym. They want to immediately get into Pilates. They want to immediately, get into different things. But I actually think it's kind of like the story of the tortoise and the hare, and then the slowest of them all always finish first. And really, when it comes to working out, when you start off slow, your longevity of consistency is just better, is stronger, trust me, I'm gonna tell you why. I want you to do something easy, like walking at a park. The goal of this is consistency. That's the first thing you need to work on, is consistency and something easy. Walking, I think people underestimate walking, but trying to get 10,000 steps a day really does make a difference. I know 10,000 steps a day is such like a word now, but even if you look at your Apple Watch and you look at how many steps you get a day, like say like you get 4,000 steps a day, maybe get 6,000. You know what I mean? Like maybe start off with 6,000, maybe that next month try to get up to 8,000, maybe the next month get up to 10,000. Don't try to like wow your body, because it's going to be wowed because you're out there in the park and you don't ever be out there in the park. You should leave feeling like that was easy. Like don't leave feeling exhausted. Leave feeling like the workout was so easy. What that does, and I don't even know if I should tell y'all this or if y'all should just experience, it makes you want to come back rather than having like a bad connotation of, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I'm gonna be so exhausted. No, we're not gonna be exhausted. Especially not that first month. We're not gonna be exhausted. Okay, the next thing I have on here, I really need to explain, but it's go with a friend, but you can't be dependent on the friend. You gotta realize this is you versus you. The only reason I put that on here is because I'm a woman, and like if you go to a park and you walk alone, I would encourage you to like at least like the first or second time go with a friend and see how safe you feel. Is it a lot of people there? Like scope out the park. Understand what's gonna be your route, understand where you can change up the route, understand where you're gonna park. You just need to know your routes, because just to be safer, I know that's like a big thing for a lot of people, and it is a big thing. It also, I feel like, doesn't need to be the reason why you don't do it. which is why I say go with a friend, but don't be dependent on a friend. Maybe go with a friend one day out of the week. The next day, you gotta stay consistent. Whether it's like you getting on a treadmill, whatever it is, just stay consistent. Because if I'm being honest, you can go to a park and something can happen to you, but you can also go to a gym and something can happen to you. You can go to the mall and something can happen to you. Like something can happen to you anywhere, but you always want to be cautious of the places that you go to. Start off with a friend. You don't have to end off with a friend, okay? You don't have to go every time with a friend, because it's going to be one time where the friend is sick and you're very healthy and you can go, and you're going to say, oh, she can't go, so I'm not going to go. And then guess what's gonna happen? The next week you're gonna get sick, and then that's just gonna lead to now you're not consistent anymore, because the next week you're not gonna go because you're like, oh, I was sick last week, I need to rest my body. And then the next week you're just gonna forget all about it. We don't want to do that. Okay. The next thing I encourage you to do is try different things. Once you get to a point like maybe like second or third month, or you get to a point where you're like, I just kind of want to try more stuff. Because for me, I get bored doing the same thing. I can't just go running every morning. That's boring to me. I need something that's gonna spice it up. You know, like I need. So for me, I do cycling twice a week, Pilates once a week, and then I go for a walk, whatever, whenever, you know, occasionally. So it kind of gives me like a. I don't want to consistently do the same thing, but I also have worked my way up to that. At first, I was doing cycling once a week, and then I would do Pilates like maybe twice a month, and then I worked my way up to twice a week, and then now I added on the walking like a month ago. So don't do it all at once. That's like the biggest thing when it comes to consistency. I feel like we see influencers all the time doing so many things that we feel like we need to do it ourselves, and it's just not the case, and it's not the way that you're gonna stay consistent, and you don't really know the path that influencer really went on. Even if they tell you their journey, you really don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. Yeah. But those are just the things that I like. I really like cycling. It feels like a healthy club, you know? It's like everybody in there is having a party. It's actually really fun. They have choreography. If you want to try it out, I do want to give a disclaimer that like at the beginning, your butt may hurt from the seat. I know a lot of people complain about that. There's going to be people on a lot of different levels. I think something very important throughout this journey when it comes to classes is that don't feel like you got to be on everybody else's level. Everybody in the class is on a completely different level. Even if they started at the same time, they could be different weights. A lot of times we compare ourselves, but when it comes to these classes, I really don't compare myself to nobody in there. This is me versus me. You always got to remember that this is me versus me. If you don't go to class because you're scared about everybody else, that's still you versus you, and you're not gonna improve. Like nobody else has control over what you're gonna do but you. Like this is literally just about the relationship with yourself. And if I'm being honest, unless you really do something out of the ordinary, nobody's paying attention to you. They're only thinking about themselves, and most people are thinking the same thing. You're thinking like, oh my gosh, are they judging me? So you might as well just not think that way, because they're just thinking about themselves, because it's them versus them and it's you versus you. Like something else, when you try different things, like if you're trying something that's like a class, I personally use ClassPass because I get to try out a lot of places in my area for a decent enough price. But something that's really important when it comes to classes is the instructor. Just because the reason you have to try a lot is because you may try something and think you don't like it, and it's strictly because of the instructor. I personally like instructors that just have good energy. You can see that they're enjoying the workout. They want to have relationships with the people who are working out. They're consistent people, and they actually help you with your form. Sometimes without you even asking, they really do care about if you're doing the workout correctly. Some instructors are just, I don't know, you really just have to have chemistry with your instructor. Don't let the instructor be the thing that makes you just be like, I'm not gonna work out anymore, because that's not fair to you. Sometimes it's the exercise, and sometimes the instructor. Really think about that, you know what I mean? Like, don't just cut something out. But yeah, I highly encourage trying different things. It don't even have to be a class. It can be running, walking, going on a bike ride outside. Run clubs are so popular right now. So my next thing, when it comes to working out, you need to have multiple ways that it's pouring into you. It can't just be like, oh, I want to lose weight. That's not enough. I'm gonna let you know that, like, right now. Like, we need to figure that out right now. That's not enough, babes. I just farted. Cute. I realized this a little earlier on when I was walking and running and trying to develop that. Right now, what's motivating me the most is 7 months ago, I decided, really it was before my friend's wedding. Well, I feel like 7 months ago it was kind of because of the wedding. That's kind of what kind of got me off my feet. But a lot of people say like they did that and they didn't stay consistent after the wedding. And I decided I was going to stay consistent after the wedding while I was doing it. And the reason why is because I told myself, I want to know what it feels like. I don't want to do the Ozempic. I don't want to do the pill. I don't want to like suppress those feelings. I want to just know what it feels like when I'm consistent. What does my mind feel like? What does my body feel like? What does my emotions feel like? Like, how do I feel in my body? Like, yes, of course I want to lose weight, but like also I want to see like, does this really help my mental? Like, this is really like, what is this gonna do for me? And through that I really learned that I really love being able to pour into myself in that way. I love curling up on this couch and watching a show, but I love it even more after I know that I've went to cycling class and now I'm curling on the couch. It's no way that I can't do that, and it's women out here with kids and going to school and they still finding a way to work out. Like, I don't even have kids. I don't even have a dog. I don't have a pet. I'm just taking care of my beautiful plants. Yeah, you need to, it can't just be losing weight. Weight fluctuates, especially when you are a woman. I didn't even have a scale because I seriously was not like, that's not like my only reason. The next thing is, I think it really pays off when you have people around you who are working out as well. I didn't realize at the beginning how important that was, but I remember I was walking with a friend and they were like, you could take the elevator or you can take the steps. They were like, yeah, let's take the steps. Like, no thought about the elevator, and I was thinking, I'm about to take the elevator, but I took the steps. Because who you are around really can influence like your decisions. My boyfriend right now, he just doesn't really like put pressure on me to work out, and I don't feel like he ever has. But just seeing him consistently work out, like that's just a part of his day. Like, he's gonna work out. Like, he's gonna make sure he's prioritizing protein. He's gonna make sure he's taking his vitamins, and just seeing him do that, it just makes me like, I need to do it. And it really doesn't even have to be like your partner. Just, I think that's why classes are so important, like Pilates and cycling and yoga and all these different places, because you meet so many different people in so many different areas of their life, and it really does have an influence on you. Even if everybody's doing the exercise and you find that your body can't, not in a way of comparison, but in a way of like encouraging yourself that I'm gonna get there, and let me work a little bit harder, let me hold out this side plank a little bit longer, because clearly they got it. I got this. Not in a comparison way, in a motivation way. It's all about the way that you think about it. It's all about perspective. Last but not least, also it's important to take breaks. Taking breaks is like so important. Sometimes when you get in the flow of things, you kind of feel bad for taking a break. But there has been times where I was either sick and I canceled like a cycling class, or went on vacation and I was like, I kind of feel bad. Like, should I do something? And sometimes it's okay to take a break. You know, the most important part about taking a break is jumping back on the saddle and getting back to it after. But if you're sick, take a break. Like, take a break. Your body needs to be able to heal itself. Don't feel like you got to work out 7 days a week, especially starting out. Certain people have certain goals and that's what they meet. But like I said, start off slow. We don't have to jump straight into 7 days a week. Now, build yourself up. Don't just consistently just never do anything else. I want to encourage you to build yourself up to more and more and more. And then take away stuff as you need to throughout life, because life is not linear. It's like this. But yeah, breaks are healthy, and I think you should take them. Sometimes I have a hard time doing that, because I'm like, because sometimes I feel like it's gonna be hard to jump back on the saddle, but you know, it's fine. So you're gonna have days where you're like, I really don't feel like doing this, but I've never regretted going to a workout after. Last but not least, your nutrition and food is actually very important. I don't know if I would encourage people to do both food and exercise at the beginning. I personally feel like that's really hard. For me, food was a lot harder. I had to break down a lot of battles with the food part because I am a snacky. I have been raised this way. My grandma used to literally take us to the corner store and be like, what junk food do y'all want? Like, I love junk food. And I've recently kind of changed my ways. I've done a lot of changes to like what I consume and prioritizing protein and fiber and water and all of those good things, calorie deficit, which I'll probably talk about in the next video. But I would say I've seen the biggest difference in my body, and I actually bought a scale now. So I've dropped down like 8 or 9 pounds now. And that's really exciting. When I changed my food, I think I saw the biggest change in my body. I saw changes in my body just working out in general, but I feel like the fastest changed when I changed my food. But like I said, I'll talk about that in another video. This is strictly about your relationship with working out. Thank y'all so much for watching. I just want you to stay encouraged with working out and don't feel like you gotta be on the level of somebody that you saw on TikTok. Like, because you don't work out consistently already, it's gonna have a immediate change just by you like walking 2,000 more steps a day. Like, that's already a jump. Your body gonna be like, what you doing, girl? Like, or what you doing, boy? So take it one step at a time. It ain't gotta be all at once. And then with that, I'm about to lay down because that matcha, I think the caffeine in that matcha is making me, it's making me woozy, and I'm not like that. Thank y'all for watching. So hey guys, so today we're gonna talk about losing weight. Hello, it's me.